What's something we should bring back from the 1920s for the 2020s? 3 cents a gallon gas. Not economic failures due to excessive spending. Flappers. Railways as the main form of transportation. Social dancing. Heroin cough syrup. My knowledge of the decade is very slim and almost entirely based on The Great Gatsby. That being said, let's all drink like crazy and party like they did in the Roaring 20s. Let's bring back knowledge of how to use apostrophes. For example, 1920s with an apostrophe means belonging to the specific year or number 1920. Double quote. 1920s, on the other hand, refers to the span of years between 1920 and 1929. The same thing is true for abbreviated dates. 20s means belonging to the specific year or number 20. Double quote. In order to correctly use the apostrophe with an abbreviated and pluralized date, it needs to go where other numbers have been removed. Believe it or not, 20s is actually a contraction. Remember, apostrophes almost never pluralize. The only exceptions are when you're referring to single letters, as with I got these in all of my basket weaving classes, comma, or when you're pluralizing acronyms that contain both uppercase and lowercase letters, as with there are a dozen ruazes outside. Dot. Most of the time, apostrophes are used to show possession by nouns. This is my grandmother's jackhammer. Would be an example of a correctly used apostrophe. If the possession is attributed to a plural noun, then the apostrophe goes after the S. I took my parents' car out for a ride, but a ferret ran me off the road. Double quote. Apostrophes can also be used in contractions. As we mentioned before, did not becomes didn't, with the apostrophe showing where the letter O has been removed. Some contractions can even include more than one apostrophe, like with I shouldn't either used an apostrophe to pluralize a noun. Double quote. You can even use both kinds of apostrophes at once. This piece of knowledge was the 20s' greatest gift to the world at large. That can sometimes seem a little bit ambiguous, though. So it's usually better to avoid contractions when a possessive quality is being indicated. This piece of knowledge was the 1920s' greatest gift to the world. Double quote. In the end, apostrophes are pretty simple to use. Just keep in mind that they don't mean no. Shit, here comes an S. Double quote. I think bringing back the fashion with just a few minute tweaks would be the bee's knees. The roaring. Nobody roars anymore and it's sad. Having cops who look at you and tell you to just go home when you're drunk as tea and you've spent many a nickel at the club and want to fight the first guy who looks your way because your woman just cheated on you with an old school friend. Tommy guns. Just joking. Music. Kinda love 1920s music. I want to bring back the casualty of wearing suits and ties. Boy, it was so long ago, but the style was amazing. I wish I could wear a suit and tie normally wherever I go. To the movies? Yeah. Even to water theme parks there are no longer any more restrictions. 23 Skidoo. The slang. Silent films hopefully. I wish more of them were made. We need a modern day Chaplin figure. I've always wanted to see an iceberg. I've always loved electro swing. I have a hunch that it'll be a big hit. Sequin skirts. And classy curly hairstyles. Dancing. Jazz music and zoot suits. Enthusiastic adoption of vaccines. Food prices. More active dancing. Enthusiasm for voting in elections. Pink for baby boys and blue for baby girls. Battleships. Definitely the font. Viable single income households. Legal Thompson submachine guns. The anything goes Harlem nightclubs. Well, at the current rate we'll have a host of diseases from the anti-vaxxer movement. So I guess that counts. But we shouldn't bring them back. The middle class. Absinthe. Al Capone. The lack of Donald Trump. Labor unions. Simple beauty as the norm. How about being able to buy any stock on the New York Stock Exchange with just 10% down? Drugs. Flappers. And the gold standard. Men wearing hats every day. Palestine. Manufacturing techniques. Tea was built to last, unlike today where it is built to last just long enough for the warranty to expire. Socialism. Burlesque. The Great Depression. Cocaine being available at the pharmacy.